UC Berkeley queer college students giving credit, academic credit, for sharing their queer stories of queerness with potentially queer middle schoolers. Sure, but if straight students were ever to share their straight stories with these kids, underage children, they'd be put on a sexual predator list. I'm Dr. Duke, she's Katie, and this is the Dr. Duke Show. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Duke Show, that only program, that one-of-a-kind, unique program, that special program that keeps you educated on the craziness impacting K-12 classrooms and college campuses around the world. Am I a little bit in vampy mode? I'm vamping, aren't I?
You're vamping. Mm-hmm.
Today we're headed to the bastion of free thought, and my producer spelled bastion wrong. Today we're headed to the bastion of free thought and civil dialogue, where liberals and conservatives come together and work through the nation's problems. Just kidding. We're headed to the University of California, Berkeley, where free speech is dead and buried, and they've weed all over its grave. And we start with an enlightening course for credit where Berkeley students are invited to share their queer experiences with middle schoolers. Yes, Berkeley students have been sharing their queer experiences with local middle and high school kids to encourage students who have not revealed their sexuality to pursue higher education. And so those Berkeley Bear kids who are in the closet are being encouraged to come out as young as middle schoolers and then apply to UC Berkeley.
So this course that these Berkeley students are enrolled in is actually called Bear Closet. And you get 2 credits if you're enrolled in this course in Soc 198. Of course, it's a sociology class. So for 2 credits, you enroll in Bear Closet. And the whole point of the course is to welcome all the students, whether they're LGBTQ, they're an ally, or they're just interested in learning, to enroll in this course. And so this fall, the class is student teachers, because those leading the course, the facilitators, if you will, of this course are students, and we'll explain that in a moment. They are seeking out enrollees, they sought them out, who were looking for sharing queer-related stories and experiences at middle and in high school classrooms.
Do you notice what was really happening here? Notice that what are the qualifications of these kids? It doesn't matter what your grades are. Notice that these college kids aren't coming and talking to these kids about, hey, study real hard and diversify your social experiences and have a lot of extracurriculars and make sure your math SATs are really high. What is the criterion that they're looking for? If you think you might be gay, then Berkeley wants you.
But the enrollees in the Bear Closet course are given the chance to speak. It's through the Pacific Center's Speakers Bureau, and that's at the middle and high school, local middle and high schools in the area. And the course itself, according to its description, is promising a lot of times for discussions as well as bonding among their members in order to instill values of community service. And most importantly, there's a pizza party.
Pizza party. It sounds like all you need is a windowless white van to transport them to and fro to the Berkeley Closet, and you have a Nightline special. Where's NBC? Was it Nightline?
Dateline.
Dateline. Where's Dateline? Where's Dateline? I want to know.
Predator.
Who is the guy in charge of that?
I forgot his name.
Show up at the Berkeley Closet, this Dateline. So these little kids, they get bussed in the windowless van, right, from the middle school to the Berkeley Bear Closet. And can you just see throwing open the door and all of that fabulousness in the closet? And there's the guy from Dateline saying, do you realize that you're soliciting sex from underage children? Do you know that? Because that's kind of what you're doing here, right?
But the students enrolled in the course, the college students, it says, and this is what I like their language, will be trained to prepare a 300-word narrative for each of the 3 modules that they are creating during the semester about various topics, whether it be Berkeley's LGBTQ community, allyship, or combating bullying. And that's what they have been sharing throughout this semester with the children's.
So again, you are recruiting middle and high school campuses for potentially gay students. Doesn't matter what their other qualifications are, doesn't matter who they are, just as long as they have the twinkle of a gay idea in their head, they may be groomable to go to UC Berkeley. Fantastic. Can we just come out and say it right now? That the best way to get into American school children, a free public service announcement to America's children. No longer do you need to prepare to be a good academician. No longer do you need to know math and science. You don't even know how to spell your name. A simple X will do if you put it in a nice, round, fabulous heart. What universities and colleges all across the country right now is they want your woke alternative sexualities. So don't bother to study. Don't bother to attend class. Don't bother to work hard. Don't worry about silly things like the ACTs. Just make it abundantly clear to the university of your preference whether you actually are gay or transgender or not, that you participate in alternative sexuality, and you have got a get into jail free card.
Okay. Well, in case you were wondering, how did this course even come about? And I said it was student run. Well, this is just one of many student courses that are at the University of California, Berkeley. It's part of their DCAL program. And basically, students create courses and they facilitate these courses, and it can be on pretty much anything. And we're going to go through a slew of some of these courses to just show that's what these kids are spending their money on and getting college credit for it. And so it doesn't align with any traditional curriculum, which that's kind of an oxymoron anyway. But each semester, they say there were more than 150 of these courses taught, and anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 of the students will take these courses. They're anywhere from a half credit all the way to 2 credits. And according to Dan Mogoloff, UC Berkeley Assistant Vice Chancellor of Communications, when speaking about the DCAL program, he said in a statement to Campus Reform, we found this story originally, he said the campus administration has no connection to or control over these course offerings, which I just don't understand because they're offered at your university.
They're offered at your university. They get credit for it. That, as one of the persons pointed out, quote, these decals are an excellent way of meeting the university's minimum unit requirement, right? So in other words, you can apparently get the minimum credits you need by simply taking these courses. Can you get through your entire curriculum at Berkeley by only taking these little mini? Because they come with such topics as Taiwanese language, study of The Simpsons, right? That kind of stuff. And as we'll see a little bit later in the show, this is not the only goofy course offering that you get at Berkeley.
Oh, there are plenty, but let's go to one, and it's the adulting course. And we've talked about this on the show before about just various adulting classes being offered basically around the country, because guess what? Our kids don't have parents that are teaching them about what to be when they become adults, how to act and how to, go through life, to survive on their own, if you will. So UC Berkeley has a class that is basically focused on being a grown-up. And this course already debuted last spring, and they brought it back for this fall with 2 different sections, and you get a credit under Psychology 198. So it's a psychology course.
Yeah, so gone are the days when we will assume that if you're 18 or 21, you're an adult. We don't anymore. In fact, this is a testimony this is actually a living, breathing testimony to what a failure our schools are. The idea that you have to take valuable university time, and kids have to spend money for this, and you get a psych credit for it, all to do what otherwise normal kids have been figured out how to do on their own for the past 150 years. Now you've got to take adult college kids who are paying a lot of money and getting in a lot of debt, and you are going to put them in courses where they learn how to do basic things that have nothing to do with academics.
And they even say it in the course description. We often enter college unprepared to take care of ourselves. At least they admit it. Many life skills, including how to develop good habits, manage stress, pay taxes, budget our spending income, and to live a healthy lifestyle are necessary, especially when college is the bridge to adulthood.
Yeah, that's what it is. And the other thing about this that's so odd and bizarre is when you think about the behavior of colleges, so they're going to offer adulting classes, but they're going to treat children like babies, right? When they protest and scream and have tantrums, we don't punish them, we don't correct them. When it comes to final exams and grades, we have puppy petting centers and coloring books and crying closets in the library. What makes you believe that a university that infantilizes its college kids is actually going to be able to teach them how to adult themselves?
Well, that's why again, it's one of these student-run courses. So the students, they're 20-year-olds. They're the ones who decided to come up with this and are teaching it both semesters. And they admit, we don't really know that much. So we're all learning together.
Isn't that nice?
We're the middlemen trying to get professionals to talk about these topics to students because they're inviting people from outside the university because they can't teach
Isn't that itself a plaintive cry from the students that no one's teaching us anything meaningful?
Yeah.
Is that not simply an argument on the basis of these progressive little kids that we're not learning what we need to survive as adults on campus?
Yeah, and my favorite takeaway from this entire story was about one of the facilitators of the class hoped that they could have an entire session dedicated to how to change the oil in your car, which I think would be beneficial. Do you know how to change the oil in your car?
I stimulate the economy by paying highly qualified mechanics to service my oil.
In true academic fashion, the students are not allowed to have the guest speaker come in and talk about changing oil because the university's administration, which I thought they said they had no part of this, They said there wasn't enough academic reading on the subject, so the students could not learn in that session how to change their oil.
Yeah, and there's a lot of academic reading on things like Marvel comic books and Pokemon and Hogwarts, apparently.
Yes, Hogwarts, the one and only Hogwarts. There are 3 different courses
at Berkeley.
At Berkeley, again, part of this decal program. They include Harry Potter, Pokemon, and Marvel, because that's what Berkeley students want to learn about. So Cal Pokemon Academy, you get 2 credits, and it's going to cover all the history of the whole franchise and all the marketing, the popular media. Do you know what Pokemon is? You got to catch them all.
Pokemon is that card game, right?
It's a whole franchise,
right,
as
exactly.
you learn. But
and
yeah,
wasn't there a Pokemon thing with people were driving around cities looking for Pokemon?
Got to catch them all.
There you go.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
And by the way, how do you square adulting courses for kids who aren't prepared with Pokemon and Hogwarts curriculum? That doesn't. You see the problem? Do you see, America, the problem? I don't expect Berkeley to see the problem, but do you, America, see the problem? On the one hand, kids whining that they're not adults. On the other hand, they're taking courses in Hogwarts and Pokemon. I work with a professor, an academic, who teaches a young adult lit. You may have actually had to take her class. And she rails in this class. I heard it again from my students. They keep coming to me. Rails about the idea that we shouldn't be teaching teachers the classics because the classics are incomprehensible to American children. They shouldn't have to read Dickens or Shakespeare or the Odyssey because our precious snowflakes who need adulting courses can't read and relate to them. And so she is literally telling generations of young teachers to stop even pretending to care about the classics and teach your kids things like Harry Potter. And so what does Harry Potter have in it? Witchcraft, spells, mysticism, good versus evil. How is that different than Macbeth? You can't teach them Macbeth because they would never relate to those witches and spirits and ghosts. So let's teach them Harry Potter, which is eighth-rate literature compared to Macbeth. And they'll relate to, guess what? Witches and ghosts and sorcerers and spells.
Have you digressed?
I think I burst an aneurysm or something.
Oh, that's good. One more thing then, because I think you deserve the right now to be lazy, as the students at Berkeley learn about
adulting.
About the right to be lazy. They have a course called The Right to be Lazy.
Alongside a course in adulting.
Shifts in Marxist thought. And this is a history credit.
History credit.
1 credit in history for The Right to be Lazy. Shifts in Marxist thought.
Yep.
So in the description, it says Marx's ideas were taken up by revolutionaries around the globe, from the anti-colonial militants in Africa and Latin America to those blockading the streets of Paris in 1968 and Italy in the 1970s. We will find in each struggle a Marxism specific to its historical and geographic context, reflected in the various stages of capitalist development. By studying these struggles and the creative responses to conditions they faced, we will try to better understand what it means to be anti-capitalist. What are the basic categories of capital and questions of the revolutionary subject? Reading that entire paragraph, I think I deserve the right to now be lazy and not study.
It's jargon-riddled nonsense. But first of all, you know what you will never find on any American campus is an how to be anti-Marxist course. Yeah. Now, why? Given that Marxism is responsible for 100+ million deaths, why are there's not a single course on an American campus that is how to become a good anti-Marxist? Well, we're going to spend a whole semester teaching you why Marxism and its murderous ideology is bad. But you have all sorts of Marxist courses like this that are teaching kids why capitalism is bad. And understand this, that the premise is that work, taking care of yourself, being an adulting, right, means work. It means sacrifice. It means going out there and earning. In the words of Darryl from The Office, you got to get out there and earn, son. You got to get out there and earn, son, right? No. Now you're being told by these Marxist half-wit professors that being lazy, refusing to work, laying on a couch with your beer bong and apparently your friend from the bear closet allows you to not be considered lazy or slothful, one of the 7 deadly sins, but now that is an active form of resistance. To do nothing but lay there in your fuzzy socks and play video games with your beer bong, right? That means you are now not being a lazy slug, not being a slacker. You're fighting capitalism.
Imagery. Just imagery right there. Well,
imagery laden.
While we have all these courses, as we said, the decal program is all student-led. All right, all the students are leading these courses. A faculty chair, department chair has to sign off on it, and there has to be some sort of a faculty advisor, if you will. But the students are leading the courses. What the heck are the professors doing at Berkeley? Well, some of them, at least the female professors, are deciding they're going to wear some beards. Beards, as in facial hair. And they are going to protest alleged gender bias this way. It's in the name of science.
Yeah, because don't you know, men with beards, there's never been a single study done about this, but that's the implication. Men with their offensive, toxic beards are getting privileges.
Yes, so we have, in the name of science, again, the women are gluing beards. They're actually gluing them to their faces, and it's called the Bearded Lady Project, Challenging the Face of Science. And it's a documentary film they came out with, and this project celebrates the work of female paleontologists. Mm-hmm. All the dinosaurs.
There's a metaphor there.
The female paleontologists, and it highlights the challenges and obstacles they face.
You know, the only obstacle women face for science in this country is the hard work it takes to become scientists, right? Well, every feminist I've ever met at a university who was twaddling on about oppression and tyranny and the masculinity of science all majored in women's studies, right? Or they majored in sociology, or they majored in English, right? What they did is they took the primrose path to socialistic and humanistic learning, right? They tippy-toed around real learning. And now they're whining because women like them aren't represented in the sciences, and it shows you perhaps why these women aren't scientists, because it seems to be the implication that by slapping a beard on your otherwise forgettable face, you now have appropriated masculinity.
Well, just for what the paleontologists say, according to their website, they say with some well-placed facial hair, any female scientist can be perceived as equally rugged, tough, and determined.
See, and that's my point. You actually think that the men engaging in this kind of hardcore science only have been allowed to do so because they can grow hair on their face. What kind of a toxic feminist assumption is that? You are downgrading the intellectual capacity of actual scientists by attributing their achievements to simply their facial hair. And you think that it equals you out by putting a fake beard on your face. You don't got it up here, sister, so whatever you put down here isn't going to matter.
And I think that wraps up this Berkeley episode. I think I also need a shower. As always, please share the episode and subscribe to the free audio podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, and everywhere else. Just visit drdukeshow.com and click on any of the platforms on the top to subscribe.
We'll see you next time at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time for another rousing episode of The Dr. Duke Show. For Freedom Project, I'm Dr. Duke. She's Katie. Until next time, stay educated, my friends.